Quick like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. My name is Ryan. I'm 34 years old, and I work as a senior network engineer for TechCore Solutions in Nashville, Tennessee. I design and maintain enterprise-level network infrastructure, troubleshoot complex systems, and solve problems most people don't even know exist. I'm methodical, logical, and I trust data over intuition, which is probably why I didn't see my wife's affair coming. But her best friend did, and she had receipts for everything. I met Jenna 8 years ago at a friend's wedding in Franklin. She was a bridesmaid, working as an event planner for a local hotel. I was a groomsman, already established in my tech career. We connected over terrible wedding food and a shared love of old movies. We got married 2 years later, bought a house in East Nashville, a renovated bungalow with a front porch and a backyard, the kind of place meant for Sunday morning coffee and, eventually, kids. Jenna kept working in event planning, eventually going freelance to have more flexibility. We talked about starting a family, but she wanted to build her client base first. I didn't push. We had time. For the first 6 years, everything was solid. We had routines, inside jokes, a partnership that worked. Jenna had her friends. I had mine. We gave each other space while maintaining our connection. Her closest friend was a woman named Sophie. They'd known each other since college, were practically inseparable. Sophie was always around. Girls' nights, brunch dates, weekend shopping trips. She was part of our life, part of our extended family. I liked Sophie. She was sharp, funny, straightforward in a way Jenna sometimes wasn't. Where Jenna could be vague or indirect, Sophie said exactly what she meant. No games, no subtext. She was also attractive, dark hair, green eyes, the kind of looks that turned heads. But she was Jenna's best friend, so I never thought about her that way. She was just Sophie, part of the furniture of our marriage. About 6 months ago, things started changing with Jenna. She joined a new gym, Core Fit Nashville, an upscale place downtown with personal trainers and boutique classes. She'd go 4 or 5 times a week, sometimes staying for hours. "I'm really getting into fitness," she'd say. "It makes me feel alive." Her appearance changed. New clothes, more makeup, different perfume. She'd spend an hour getting ready just to go to the gym. "You look great," I'd tell her. "Thanks," she'd say, barely looking at me. The physical distance grew. Sex became rare, then non-existent. When I tried to initiate, she'd have excuses. "I'm sore from my workout. I'm exhausted. Can we do this another time?" Another time never came. She was on her phone constantly, texting, smiling at messages she wouldn't share, taking calls in other rooms, sleeping with her phone under her pillow. "Who are you texting?" I'd ask. "Just Sophie, planning our next girls' night." But something fell off. The energy had shifted. Jenna was physically present, but emotionally absent, like she was waiting for something. Then, 3 weeks ago, everything changed. I was working from home on a Thursday afternoon when my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened the door to find Sophie standing there. She looked upset. Her eyes were red like she'd been crying, and she was holding a large envelope. "Sophie, what's wrong? Can I come in? We need to talk." I stepped aside. She walked past me into our living room, sat on the couch, and set the envelope on the coffee table. "Ryan, I need to tell you something, and I need you to not interrupt until I'm finished." My stomach dropped. "Okay, Jenna's having an affair." The words hung in the air. I opened my mouth. She held up a hand. "Please, let me finish." I nodded. "She's been seeing her personal trainer at Core Fit. His name is Blake. It started about 4 months ago. At first it was just flirting, then it became more. They've been meeting at his apartment after her training sessions, sometimes at hotels downtown." I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. Sophie continued, her voice steady. "I found out 2 months ago. I saw them together at a restaurant in the Gulch. They were very clearly not just trainer and client." I confronted Jenna the next day. She admitted everything. 2 months ago, I managed to say, "You've known for 2 months?" I begged her to tell you, to end it with Blake and fix her marriage. She kept saying she would, that she just needed time to figure things out. But she didn't end it. She's still seeing him. "How do you know?" Sophie opened the envelope and pulled out photos. Printed screenshots of text messages. Time-stamped photos. A detailed timeline written in Sophie's neat handwriting. "I've been documenting everything. Every time she lied to you about where she was. Every time she met Blake when she said she was with me. Every lie. Every deception. It's all here. She spread the documents across the coffee table. I stared at them, trying to process what I was seeing. Text messages between Jenna and Blake. Explicit messages. Plans to meet. Discussions about me. About how I was clueless and always working. How Blake made her feel alive in ways I supposedly didn't. Photos of them together. At restaurants. Walking hand in hand downtown. One photo showed them kissing outside a hotel on West End. All documented. All time-stamped. All organized with Sophie's characteristic precision. Why are you showing me this? I asked quietly. Because I can't watch this anymore. I can't keep covering for her. I can't keep lying to you when you ask if Jenna was really with me. Sophie's voice cracked. You deserve to know the truth. Does she know you're here? No. She thinks I'm at work. She has no idea I've been documenting everything. I picked up one of the photos. Jenna and Blake at some outdoor cafe, laughing. She looked happier than I'd seen her in months. I'm sorry, Ryan, Sophie said. I know this is devastating, but you needed to know. Thank you, I said automatically, for telling me. She nodded. We sat in silence for a moment. Then Sophie said something that surprised me. I need to tell you one more thing. I looked at her. I've been in love with you for 3 years. The room went completely still. What? I'm in love with you. I have been since that night we all went to that concert at the Ryman, and Jenna got food poisoning. You and I stayed up talking in the hotel lobby for hours while she slept. That's when I realized you were everything I'd ever wanted in a partner. I couldn't speak. I know the timing is terrible, Sophie continued. I know you're processing this information about Jenna, but I couldn't keep hiding how I feel. Not anymore. She took a breath. I'm not asking you to make a decision right now. I'm just asking you to know that when this marriage ends, and it will end, I'm here. I see you. I value you. And I would never do to you what Jenna's doing. Sophie, you don't have to say anything. Just think about it. After you deal with Jenna, after the dust settles. She stood up. Keep those documents. They're copies. I have the originals. Use them however you need to. She walked to the door, then turned back. You deserve someone who chooses you every day, Ryan. Someone who doesn't take you for granted. Someone who sees how incredible you are. Then she left. I sat on my couch, surrounded by evidence of my wife's affair, trying to process the fact that her best friend had just confessed feelings for me. What the hell had just happened? I spent the next 3 hours going through Sophie's documentation. Every piece of evidence, every timeline, every receipt. It was thorough, obsessively thorough. Text message screenshots showed conversations between Jenna and Blake going back 4 months. Plans to meet. Explicit discussions. Photos of them together at various locations around Nashville. Credit card statements. Sophie had somehow obtained copies. Showed charges at hotels. Restaurants. A weekend trip to Chattanooga that Jenna had told me was a solo wellness retreat. There was even a recording. Sophie had recorded a conversation with Jenna where Jenna admitted to the affair and discussed her plans. I don't know if I want to stay married, Jenna's voice said on the recording. Blake makes me feel things Ryan never has. So tell Ryan. Get a divorce, Sophie's voice responded. It's not that simple. Ryan makes good money. We have a house. I can't just walk away from that stability. You're going to keep cheating while enjoying the life Ryan provides. Until I figure out what I want. Yeah. I listened to that recording 3 times. My wife discussing my income and our house like they were benefits she wasn't ready to give up. While sleeping with her personal trainer. I called my attorney. His name was David Brennan. We'd worked together when I'd reviewed some contracts for freelance work. He also practiced family law. David, I need to file for divorce. What happened? I told him everything. The affair. Sophie's documentation. The recording of Jenna discussing keeping me around for financial stability while she figured out if she wanted to be with Blake. David whistled low. That's damning evidence. Especially the recording discussing financial motivations. Tennessee is still a fault-based state when it comes to grounds for divorce. Adultery is absolutely a valid ground. What I need to do? Keep all that documentation. Don't confront Jenna yet. We want to file first. Can you get me copies of everything? I'll scan it all tonight. Good. I'll have papers drawn up by Monday. We'll serve her early next week. I hung up and looked at the stack of documents on my coffee table. Evidence of betrayal, compiled by a woman who claimed to love me. The whole situation was surreal. Jenna came home at 7 p.m., claiming she'd been at the gym, followed by a coffee date with Sophie. How was Sophie? I asked, testing her. Good. Same as always. We talked about planning a girls' weekend trip. Another lie. Sophie had been at my house, not having coffee with Jenna. Sounds fun, I said neutrally. Jenna kissed my cheek absently and went upstairs to shower. I sat at our kitchen table, surrounded by evidence of her affair, and wondered how long she'd keep lying if I didn't confront her. Over the weekend, I scanned everything Sophie had given me, uploaded it to a secure cloud storage, sent copies to David. I acted normal around Jenna, asked about her day, made dinner, pretended everything was fine. She had no idea what was coming. On Sunday evening, Sophie texted me. Did you look at the documents? Yes. All of them. I'm sorry you had to see that. Thank you for telling me. There was a pause. Then another message. I meant what I said. About how I feel about you. I stared at that message for a long time. I don't know what to say to that right now. You don't have to say anything. Just know it's true. Why did you tell me? Why not just give me the evidence, without the confession? Because I'm tired of pretending. Tired of watching Jenna take you for granted while I've been seeing what an incredible man you are. Tired of hiding how I feel. This is a lot to process. I know. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. I set down my phone and went to bed. Jenna was already asleep, or pretending to be. The next morning, Jenna left for the gym at 9 a.m. I worked from home. At 10:30, a process server arrived at our house. Jenna was served with divorce papers at CoreFit, in front of Blake and several other gym members. She called me at 10:45, hysterical. What the hell, Ryan? Divorce papers? Served at my gym. You're having an affair with Blake. I have evidence. Lots of it. Silence. How did you? It doesn't matter how I found out. What matters is that you've been cheating on me for 4 months while pretending to work on your fitness. I can explain. I have text messages between you and Blake. Photos of you together. Credit card statements showing hotel charges. A recording of you telling Sophie you're only staying married to me for financial stability. What exactly are you going to explain? More silence. Ryan, please. Can we talk about this? Through our attorneys. Mine is David Brennan. Have your lawyer contact him. You can't just end our marriage like this. You ended it when you started sleeping with your personal trainer. I'm just making it official. I hung up. She called back immediately. I didn't answer. She showed up at the house an hour later. I'd changed the locks that morning. David had advised me to do so after serving papers. She pounded on the front door. Ryan, open the door. We need to talk. I opened it but stood in the doorway, blocking her entry. You changed the locks? This is my house too. This is the marital residence, and I'm entitled to exclusive use during separation proceedings, especially given documented adultery. Your belongings are packed in the garage. You can take them now. Her face went red. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care. Blake's apartment. A hotel. Your parents' house. Anywhere but here. You're being unreasonable. I'm being unreasonable. You've been having an affair for 4 months. You were served divorce papers this morning. What part of this suggests I should let you stay in my house? Our house. My house that I pay the mortgage on. My house that I'm not letting you stay in while you sleep with your personal trainer. Jenna's eyes filled with tears. Please, Ryan. I made a mistake. It didn't mean anything. I have a recording of you telling Sophie that Blake makes you feel things I never have. That doesn't sound like it meant nothing. Her face went pale. Sophie recorded me. Sophie documented everything. Your entire affair. Every lie. Every hotel visit. Every time you claimed to be with her when you were actually with Blake. That bitch. Don't. Sophie's the only person who is honest with me. She's not the villain here. She's been trying to steal you from me for years. Or maybe she's just been a good friend who couldn't watch you destroy our marriage anymore. Jenna wiped her eyes. Is that where you're getting all this? From Sophie? She's poisoning you against me. The evidence speaks for itself. Text messages in your own words. Photos of you and Blake together. Your own voice on a recording discussing your affair. Sophie didn't poison anything. She just showed me the truth. I want to see this evidence. You'll see it during discovery and the divorce. Now get your things and leave. She tried arguing for another 10 minutes. I didn't budge. Finally, she loaded her car with the suitcases I'd packed and drove away. I went back inside and exhaled for what felt like the first time in hours. My phone buzzed. A text from Sophie. I heard she was served. Are you okay? Surprisingly, yes. Do you need anything? I stared at that message. Thought about Sophie's confession. About the fact that while Jenna was having an affair, her best friend had been quietly in love with me. Can we talk? In person? When? Tonight? I'll bring dinner. 7 p.m. Okay. Sophie arrived at 7 p.m. exactly, carrying Thai food from our favorite place. The same order I always got. She'd remembered. We ate at my kitchen table, the same table where I'd looked at her evidence 4 days ago. How are you really doing? She asked. I don't know. Relieved? Angry? Hurt? All of it. That's normal. How did you get all that evidence? The photos, the recordings, the credit card statements. Sophie set down her fork. The photos I took myself. I started following Jenna after I saw her with Blake that first time. I know it sounds creepy, but I needed to know for sure before I said anything to you. And the recording. I recorded our conversation with my phone. Jenna didn't know. I needed you to hear it directly from her. The credit card statements. Jenna shares her passwords with me. Has for years. We used to joke about being able to access each other's accounts in case of emergency. I used that access to document her spending during the affair. I processed that. You spent 2 months documenting her affair before telling me. I spent 2 months hoping she'd ended herself. Hoping she'd tell you the truth. But she didn't. She just kept lying to both of us. Why tell me at all? You could have just let it play out. Sophie looked at me directly. Because you deserve to know. And because I couldn't watch her treat you like a safety net while she explored her options. And the confession about being in love with me. She didn't look away. That was real. I felt that way for years. I never said anything because you were married to my best friend. But watching her betray you while I stood by and said nothing felt like betraying you too. This is complicated, Sophie. I know. And I'm not asking for anything right now. I'm just asking that you know how I feel. We finished dinner and moved to the living room. Talked for hours about everything. The affair, the divorce, what came next. What did Jenna say when you confronted her? Sophie asked. She blamed you. Said you've been trying to steal me from her for years. Sophie laughed bitterly. Classic Jenna. Can't take responsibility, so she makes me the villain. Have you talked to her since you told me? No. She's called and texted about 20 times. I haven't responded. I'm done enabling her. She was her best friend. She was. But a real friend doesn't cheat on her husband and expect me to cover for her. A real friend doesn't use people and lie without consequences. Still, you're losing a friendship too. Sophie looked at me with something like sadness. I lost that friendship 2 months ago when she refused to tell you the truth. This is just making it official. The divorce moved quickly. Jenna hired an attorney, a woman named Patricia something, who tried to argue the evidence was obtained illegally. David shut that down immediately. The photographs were taken in public places. The recording was made by a participant in the conversation, which is legal in Tennessee's one-party consent state. The credit card statements were accessed with permission that was never formally revoked. Nothing was obtained illegally. Jenna tried to claim the affair was over, that Blake meant nothing, that we should try counseling. David presented the timeline showing the affair had continued right up until she was served papers. She tried to claim she deserved half the house. David showed documentation that I'd paid 100% of the mortgage, utilities, and maintenance for the entire marriage, while Jenna's freelance income went to personal expenses. 3 months into the proceedings, Patricia called David. My client is willing to settle. I'm listening. She'll accept a 60-40 split of assets in Mr. Ryan's favor. She keeps her car and personal belongings. Mr. Ryan keeps the house. No alimony claims from either side. David looked at me. I nodded. Acceptable. Draw up the agreement. The divorce was finalized in January, 6 months after Sophie had shown up at my door with that envelope. 8 years of marriage ended because my wife's best friend couldn't watch the lies anymore. I kept the house, my retirement accounts, everything I'd worked for. Jenna got 40% of our minimal savings and her freedom to be with Blake. Except by the time the divorce was final, Blake had already moved on to his next client. I heard through mutual friends that Jenna tried to maintain the relationship, but Blake had never wanted anything serious. He wanted the excitement of the affair, not the reality of a girlfriend with divorce baggage. He broke up with her in November. Jenna ended up moving back in with her parents in Franklin, still doing freelance event planning, still trying to piece her life back together. Sophie and I didn't rush into anything. We had dinner occasionally, talked, processed everything that had happened. I don't want to be a rebound, she said one night about 2 months after my divorce finalized. You're not. But I need time to figure out what I want. I understand. I'll wait. You shouldn't have to wait. I've been waiting 3 years, Ryan. A few more months won't kill me. We took it slow. Coffee dates. Movies. Long conversations about everything and nothing. She never pushed. Never demanded. Just let things develop naturally. About 4 months after the divorce, I kissed her. We were sitting on my porch, watching the sunset, and it just felt right. I've wanted to do that for a long time, I admitted. I know, she said, smiling. I've wanted you to. We've been together for 8 months now. It's different from what I had with Jenna. More honest. More real. Sophie doesn't play games or hide things. She says what she means. And she chooses me. Every day. Without reservation. People have opinions, of course. Some mutual friends think it's weird that I'm dating my ex-wife's former best friend. I don't care. Sophie was the one who told me the truth when no one else would. Who documented everything. Who cared enough about me to blow up her own friendship rather than watch me be betrayed. That's not stealing someone's husband. That's being honest when honesty matters most. Jenna tried to reach out once, about 6 months after the divorce. Sent a long email about how she was sorry, how she'd made mistakes, how she hoped I'd forgiven her. I deleted it, but I did get one other message that surprised me. From Blake, the personal trainer. Hey man, I know this is weird, but I wanted to apologize. I didn't know Jenna was married when we started. She said she was separated and the divorce was almost final. By the time I found out the truth, we were already involved. I should have ended it then. I'm sorry. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I wrote back. She lied to both of us. I don't blame you, but maybe screen your clients better next time. He never responded. I didn't expect him to. Last week, Sophie and I were having dinner at Margot Cafe when we ran into Jenna. She was there with some friends, laughing too loud, drinking too much. She saw us. Her face went pale. We made eye contact across the restaurant. I nodded once politely, then turned back to Sophie. I didn't know Jenna anything. Not acknowledgement. Not forgiveness. Not a conversation. She'd made her choices. Lied for months. Chose her affair over our marriage. Sophie had made different choices. Chose honesty over comfort. Chose to tell me the truth, even when it meant losing her best friend. And then chose to wait patiently while I figured out what I wanted. My wife's best friend told me everything about the affair, then asked to take her place. And after everything settled, after the dust cleared, after I'd processed the betrayal and rebuilt my life, I said yes. Not because Sophie was a replacement, not because I was rebounding, but because she'd shown me what real love looked like. It looked like honesty, even when honesty was painful. It looked like patience, even when waiting was hard. It looked like choosing someone every single day, without reservation or deception. Jenna had never loved me that way. Sophie did, and that made all the difference.